And with that, I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. We have regrets from Vice Chair Tomaszewski, from Trustee Cripps, and from Superintendent Bartlett. This meeting is being broadcast on Facebook Live. The meeting can be attended in person, and trustees, staff, and public must pre-screen before entering the board office if they are attending in person. I'd like to acknowledge that we are signatories of Treaty 5, and we reside in the traditional territory of the Necesia-Wiyazak Cree Nation, and we are all treaty people. Can I get a motion for approval of the agenda? Trustee Tucker, Trustee Oliveira. Any changes or additions? All those in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion for adoption of the minutes of the meeting of September the 13th? Trustee Anderson?
Yeah.
Trustee Tucker? Any errors or omissions? All those in favor? Aye. Motion is carried. We do not have delegations or presentations tonight, nor do we have business from a previous meeting. Superintendent of Human Resources and Policy, Bartlett, has submitted her report. It's not here, so we'll let her present that in person on our next meeting. Superintendent, or were you planning to read it out, or no? Okay. Then Superintendent of Human Resources, or Superintendent of Education Services and Programming.
I provided my report. Just a few highlights. We have enrolled with the Manitoba Rural Learning Consortium. So the three areas that we have registered in, this is professional development for teachers, and it's a northern cohort that we're working with. Is teaching reading in K-3. We have 11 teachers registered for that. Numeracy Achievement Program for grade 6 and grade 9. We have 15 altogether registered in that, and that's going to be either a 1-year or 2-year project that teachers are involved in. And we have Leading and Learning in Schools, the roles of principals and vice principals. I forgot the vice there. And we have 18 registered, and the sessions will begin in October, and they'll run over the course of the year. The first numeracy PD has happened in Portage, and Kelly Tate attended that as a numeracy lead. This week is National Truth and Reconciliation Week. A number of activities are going on in the schools. Some are participating in the TRC activities that are occurring over Zoom, and there's also individual school activities such as memorial walks and feasts. Just check your school websites to see what's going on. So the week's been designated as a time for Canadians to acknowledge the intergenerational harm that residential schools have caused to Indigenous families and their communities. There was no choice and there was no legal alternative. Our students are learning this in history. It is learning this history. It is a history that we have inherited, and the call to reconciliation is for us to learn and to do better. It does need to happen year-round, not just days set aside. So, appreciate the week, but it's something that we need to continue learning. So one of the projects that is happening is Curriculum Services has set up their Indigenous Peoples Atlas of Canada giant floor map. And when I say giant floor map, it is the size of this room. Like, it's a giant map. And it's set up right now for 2 days. Monday and Tuesday, it was at the TRCC for classes to sign up. And Wednesday and Thursday, it is going to be relocated to the Legion for classes to attend. And on Friday, September 30th, it will remain at the Legion and be open to the public. There is a teacher's guide that can be found at the address here. But some of the activities that the Indigenous Peoples map covers is, talks about climate change, the connection to the land, Indigenous governance, housing, human rights, Indigenous languages, movement of people, notable people, original place names, residential schools, seasonal cycles and migration patterns, symbols, using the timeline, trade routes, and treaties, land disputes and disagreements, or agreements and rights. I would encourage people to go and check it out. I know that if you happen to be in the neighborhood, that they certainly aren't going to turn you away. Go and have a look at the map. There's a lot of things to be learned from that map. And just, you know, the attendance and transiency, that continues to be a focus for us in the district. And it really does have a huge impact on student learning and success. So at this time, our numbers have increased a little bit, but our student count day is going to be on September 29th, and then we'll have a more accurate number. And just a quote, I think that's really important around Truth and Reconciliation, and the fact that, you know, this is the week that we're acknowledging and honoring the residential school survivors and those who didn't make it home. And Judge Murray Sinclair, who was part of the commission, one of his quotes is, "Education is what has got us here, and education is what will get us out." So just everybody to take some time to learn about residential schools and the impact it's had on our history. That's my report.
Any questions? We have a research proposal.
So we have received a request from Gail Cormier. She's a professor at the Université de Saint Boniface, and she's conducting research on schoolscapes and visible written languages on signs in all the rural French immersion schools in Manitoba. So her objective is to reach out to all the French immersion schools in rural Manitoba, and what she wants is for participants to fill out a survey, and then once she has her findings, she will share out that survey. So basically, she has sent the ethics, the approval of ethics, and now she's just asking for permission for us to allow her to contact the principal at Ecole Riverside School, and so two French immersion teachers at the high school. So we're just looking for the permission.
And is that a motion?
I believe so. Recommendation, yep.
Okay. I'll move.
Okay. And the recommendation reads that Professor Cormier would be allowed to proceed with the research within the district and share the results of the study with the Board of Trustees. Do I have a seconder? Trustee Anderson, any questions?
Yes, I do have. I'm just wondering then if the principal has the option to opt out. If we're giving permission, does the principal then have the option to say, I want to do this?
No, we're asking for permission for them to be able to communicate to the principal, and the principal would communicate that out to their teachers. And it's a survey. It's not something that's going to take them away from school.
Okay.
So it'll be up to the teachers. It's voluntary. So if they want to do it, they can do it. But otherwise,
All right.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, totally voluntary.
And then my read of it was first teacher volunteers, they take them,
Yeah.
then they just quit looking.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Motion is carried. Secretary Treasurer's report.
Circulated in your board packages for information are expenditures for year-to-date as of September 22nd, 5% through the school year. The approved budget of $45,188,000 is for this current school year. I will adjust the title of that on my report for next time. The expenses year-to-date, which include the accrual for the summer teacher pay, $3,159,740, so we're 7% in. It's pretty early out of the gate, but all's going well so far for September. Circulated as well is the financial dashboard that is being updated for information. The dashboard right now, we have the opening balance of surplus for July 1st of $1,672,982. Included in our budget for balancing this current year's budget is the use of $358,633. We've not been advised of any further revenue or expense adjustments year to date. So we have a projected undesignated operating surplus at the end of this coming year, $1,314,349. The province does allow us 4%, which is equal to 1.8 million. So we're just below that metric. We've received additional provincial allocations from our regular current year budget. The government had announced $20 million to strengthen student support and learning. It's to re-engage students. School District of Mystery Lake received $164,902 on a per pupil allocation. We also received a targeted allocation of $229,000. That was due to various metrics within our division to increase that total amount of strengthening student support and learning to $393,902. Superintendent Henderson is working on establishing the programming and the personnel for those additional dollars. There was also announced $7 million of special needs funding that the province has rolled out in addition to our plan. The school district has received an allocation of $118,290. That is also going into our student services budget lines here to be rolled out with additional services for this coming year. The third program that's been announced by the province, $2.5 million for the Child Nutrition Council of Manitoba. They've received it for the school nourishment programs. At this time, we've been notified that Wapanuck Community School Breakfast Program will be receiving $25,000 from the Child Nutrition Council of Manitoba. So we've got a handful of additional money in addition to our regular budget to help support our school community. So as other announcements come along, I'll be adding them to the dashboard, or if there's anything else you'd like to see, we can add to it.
Any idea how they parse out the child nutrition or the school nourishment program? Like in terms of how they determined who got what? Was it based on what your existing programs were, or?
No. Previous programs between two separate schools were just over $5,000 last year. So for Wapanuck to get the $25,000 this year was quite unexpected when I'd seen based on the $2.5 million. We received the funding letter, but we didn't get the breakdown from the council of how they established that.
Any other questions?
No, it's just interesting, just a comment. It's interesting, our conversation at the Education and Programming Committee, which we'll be discussing in this meeting, and then to see that a little bit, and I'm curious how far that goes. How far does $25,000 go for the Wapanuck Community School Breakfast Program? Do we know that?
This is one of many funding sources. The Breakfast Club. I don't have the metrics on how many children are being fed right now, but we can flag that for a type of metric to see.
That'd be great. I'm really curious about that. And I understand it's a very, very active, busy program, the Wapanuck Breakfast School Program.
Get to see how long it lasts, right? That's what you want to know?
Yeah, how much do we need in order to feed kids breakfast every day? How much? And then that goes into a whole bunch of other questions.
There's a lot of creativity goes into that as well. There's
Right.
a lot of like coupon clipping and
Absolutely.
looking for deals and
Right.
but we have a large variety of nutrition programs throughout the districts, so I can capture something like that to put on the dashboard for future.
Awesome, thank you.
In terms of new business, we've got our borrowing bylaw first reading. Borrowing bylaw 01/23 is required for the provision of the district's operating line of credit, which is $6 million, and the Visa cards, which are $30,000 for senior administration and school administration. Excuse me. The bylaw is renewed on an annual basis. It covers one fiscal year. And the recommendation is that borrowing bylaw number 01/23 receive first reading. Can I have a mover, please?
I so move.
Trustee Olivera. Seconder, Trustee Tucker. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. First reading is carried. Moving on to correspondence. First item is Thompson Teachers Association has sent a letter, excuse me, requesting that the travel date for the MTS Professional Development Day be restored. My understanding was it's not in the calendar because we weren't using it because we haven't been in person for 2 years now. But this one will include in-person options, so Teachers Association is asking for a travel day. The recommendation we've got is the Board of Trustees include a travel day on October 20, 2022 in the current school calendar to allow MTS PD Day participation in Winnipeg. The calendar, the motion should note that we're amending the calendar to do this because that calendar has to be provided to the province and posted publicly. And in addition to adding a travel day on October 20th, we'll be removing a PD day on January 16th?
Yeah.
Just to keep our teachable days in balance. So the recommendation is actually to amend our calendar to allow a travel day on October 20th and to remove the PD day on January 16, 2023. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
And just some other things that need to be noted. Layoff notices were provided to support staff for the January 16th date. So they've had their dates for the year. So those will have to be recalled and reissued. So people will have to make adjustments there. We will cancel the January 16th PD. I did check with schools, and we do have one school that has speakers booked. So I'll have to let them know. I'll let the principals know. The October 20th is going to become a self-directed learning day. And, you know, as in the past, it's been written up and submitted to their principals. And there is going to be on the form a piece that says people attending virtual sessions will not need a travel day. If it's virtual, they'll be here, and they'll indicate that on their form. So Charmaine will be sending that out shortly if it's passed. And at this point, curriculum services will not be available. They've already committed to doing the Friday as a PD day for the district, so they also are entitled to having their own PD self-directed. So and they may want to travel now. There's some good sessions that are in person down south. So yeah, and I did check with Flin Flon and I checked with the PAW, and they both have the Thursday off also. So yeah, okay.
So from the perspective of the public, this is now a day without school that was not in the original calendar. And a day without school that was planned for January in the original calendar is now a day with school. So for anyone who's got plans, sorry.
And they'll have to resubmit to the province the form. Because they are on their, I don't know if you've been on the government website, but all of the school calendar dates are on there by division, so we'll have to note that there's a change for ours.
Can you kind of move her in a second here, please?
Can we maybe send out the district-wide email to all the parents that have signed up?
Yeah, we'll have to, once Charmaine gets back, we'll put this, fix it up and then send it out so that people have it. And then they'll have to make adjustments to their schedules.
Move her in a second here, please. Trustee Henderson, Trustee Olivera. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. The motion is carried. Next up is Manitoba School Board Association correspondence. They have sent out their first call for nominations and resolutions. This is normal for this time of year. First call is now, the second call will be the fall regional meeting, and the third call will be at the spring annual general meeting, which is where the nominations and resolutions will be voted on. Nominations are for the positions of president, vice president for divisions under 6,000, which is us, and directors for regions 2, 4, and 5, and we are region 4. Is anybody interested in having any resolutions for the?
Yes, I do. I think we should put forth a resolution calling the province to address student food insecurities.
That sounds like a great idea. The since we're going to be having a new board, we'll probably leave it until you've got somebody to work with on that, instead of having a bunch of trustees that are leave you with it in your hands. But that can come up at a future meeting once the new board meets. Put together an ad hoc to just come up with wording for the resolution.
Just for what it's worth, I really support that notion, because child poverty, child food insecurity is a significant issue, and we can't expect children to learn when they're hungry.
On page 2 of the package, the deadline for resolutions is Friday, November 4th. We won't have a new board in place before the 8th. The Resolution and Policy Committee is inviting board member boards to submit resolutions for consideration. The deadline for receipt of resolutions and supporting rationale is Friday, November 4th. Resolutions received on or before that deadline will be deemed regular resolutions.
Dang.
Okay.
What's the fall meeting?
Pardon?
What's the date of the fall meeting?
The fall meeting is December 1st to 2nd. Fall and regional meetings.
Yeah. I mean,
It take much to draft up what you just said,
Yeah.
and just
It could be ready for the next board meeting and still make the deadline.
yeah, let's do it that way. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Then let's have that on the agenda for next meeting.
thank you. In other news, as noted already, this is Truth and Reconciliation Week, with September 30th being the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, also Orange Shirt Day. This week is also School Support Staff Recognition Week. I think it's worth noting that over the last 2 years, our school support staff have performed I think being called on to perform in very unusual and very innovative ways, and have really risen to the challenge. I think we each only had limited opportunities to be in schools over the last 2 years, but when we did go in, it was interesting to see how many schools adapted and used the staff they've got to be able to run classrooms that were socially distanced and split and in new and different areas. So worth noting just how much work went into that by those staff, and it's nice to have them doing their normal jobs again. And the other thing that's coming up on the calendar is October is Dyslexia Awareness Month. And with that, we're into committee reports. Policy Committee?
Our meeting is on October 12th at 5 o'clock.
Education and Programming Committee.
Yeah, we actually had a meeting right before this one. We discussed the Vino Participant program. We have 2 CUCUMs currently in the school district, and we're looking to fill positions. So if you're looking for a job, please email Lori Henderson directly at lhenderson@mysterynet.mb.ca. The positions are family outreach, numeracy support, and support positions at Artie Parker. That's Michelle.
Right, sorry.
And we
I
don't have to.
don't see it on the schedule, so no date yet.
No.
Okay. Finance, Property and Personnel Committee is scheduled for October 11th.
We do have a resolution coming out of that meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so the Finance Committee recommends that the Board of Trustees designate surplus funds to support the programs and operations of the district. In support of land-based education, operating surplus in the amount of $825,000 will be used to create and/or enhance outdoor learning spaces at all elementary schools. Updating building controls, internet connectivity, fleet components, and enhancing video security monitoring will require $480,000. A review of various expenditure delays for the 2021-2022 school year will require funds to be carried forward in the current year. With the delay of subcontractor mobilization until May 2023, parking lot refurbishment has been postponed at all schools. This is the third year of asphalt delay. $590,000 for asphalt requires carryover. Construction activities occurring after June 30th for waterline and roof repairs require $275,000 to be carried forward. Supply chain delays are extended delivery times required, $295,750 carried forward. Reduced travel and restricted gatherings, reduced professional development funds necessary for the 2021-2022 year, which are due back to the province with the amount of $71,628. The unused funds for travel resulted from public health restrictions and will be carried forward to the amount of $108,000 to supplement unprecedented travel cost increases not included in the 2022-2023 budget. As identified in board policy, school budget carry forward in the amount of $62,510 will be used from the 2021-2022 in the new school year. So the recommendation I'm bringing forward, that the Board of Trustees approve the designation of operating surplus in the amount of $2,707,888 as at June 30th of 2022.
Do I have a mover? Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second that.
Trustee Anderson? Any questions? All those in favor? Aye.
Yeah,
The motion is carried. With that, trustee comments. Trustee Anderson?
Yeah, I just wanted to do a little shout out to Gail Randall. She is selling these pins for a local artist, Sherry Halstead, and she's so famous, so I just wanted to show it off. Yeah, that's it.
Trustee Alvarado.
I apologize, I know I went up here without my orange shirt.
But I will be wearing it on Thursday. Other than that, please let's take a moment this week and honor and remember those that didn't come home. That's it.
Trustee Tucker?
just to build on that, TOAS is offering a whole bunch of programming on and activities on Thursday and Friday in the city of Thompson, and I encourage everybody to participate because there's some really good things going on, including ceremonies and feasts and lovely ways to remember the travesty that was the residential school system. And that's it.
And I just wanted to note that there were 7 people nominated as school trustees. As a result, we've got a full board. 7 means that there won't be an election, but at least we've got nominees for a full board and won't have to appoint anyone. Other school districts that we've been in contact with have not been as lucky. In some cases, we'll have to nominate an entire board because they didn't even have they didn't even have enough nominees for a quorum in a new board. So many thanks to those who did run. And with that, questions from the public. Hi, public. Thank you very much. And with that, can I have a motion to move in camera, please? Trustee Anderson?
Immediately?
Trustee Oliveira? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 10 minutes.